Novex Dance presents.
You know, if your brain or resources or what have you flags, there's always somebody there to pick up the ball and move it further. Your thinking really is really improved by having somebody as a sounding board and a kind of enlarger of what you might put forward yourself. So I think it actually takes longer to do something collaboratively, but the product and the experience is worth that extra investment. Yeah.
When I was first at Oberlin, a colleague accused me of not teaching history, but instead teaching some kind of form of sociology or things like that. And what this colleague was suggesting was that I wasn't teaching the canonized history, the history that gets written in a certain way, right? So over the past 2 decades and way before that, history has been complicated as, you know, whose history, who gets to tell the history, what histories are we losing. So I would say that in dance studies, and that's why, you know, we have a Dance Studies Association and no longer like Society of Dance History Scholars, right? We've exploded history to include so much more, the way we've exploded dance to include so much more, right? So I think it's important to recognize that history, you can come at history, and I think we say that, right? Because right after that question is, or right after that comment is like a parens that says it can be memoirs, it could be physical, it could be images, it could be, you know, all kinds of things. So I would say that history isn't just the study of the past now. It's the study of context much more than just the study of the dances. And I think that was a central tension in our graduate program of, you know, kind of what does critical race theory have to say? What does queer theory have to say? What does feminist theory have to say to dance? And is that useful? And also, how is dance, the information in dance and that embodied knowledge, going to speak back to queer theory or feminist film theory or, you know, critical race theory, so that it's not just about all the, you know, going out and taking in those theories and inserting them like injections into the dance. It's also recognizing that dance has its own theoretical parameters, and those can be really important if we speak back to philosophy, or if we speak back to certain ideas in representation in art history or something like that. So I would say that history has a lot of holes in to insert other questions and other modes of inquiry.
If you had to recommend a resource to our audience, what would it be?
Sarah Med's Queer Phenomenology.
And Dils.
Oh, geez. Les Hetty, I have really enjoyed the dance professors discussion group on Facebook since the COVID crisis. I've gotten more teaching ideas and just help with navigating, what do I do about my floors, and all of those kinds of issues that we've had to navigate the last month. So I really have appreciated that group.
Awesome. Question number 2.
See, you are on social media in that way.
Okay, so what was the first dance you saw, and Dils?
I was probably in dancing school before I actually saw any dance. So probably my classmates, I'm from West Virginia, so I went to like a baton, synchronized swimming, toe tap kind of dancing school. So I probably first saw people doing those kinds of dance forms.
Mm-hmm. And Cooper Albright?
Well, you know, I didn't start dancing till I was in college, right?
Oh, wow.
So, the first dance that I saw was in Philadelphia at Temple University. It was a duet between Fred Holland and Ishmael Houston Jones. and they were doing kind of contact and combat at the same time. And it was very, very amazing.
Question
I mean,
number
the first theatrical professional dance, right? I'm not talking about like the Y middle school dance, right? Yeah.
All right, question number 3. Do you think social media has a positive influence on the dance world, yes or no? And Cooper Albright.
Yes and no.
Okay. And Dils.
Agreed. But the older I get, the less appreciative of it am I.
Okay, interesting. And last but not least, what is your favorite social media platform, if you had one?
The telephone.
Okay.
I could not teach without YouTube.
I have a bonus question. How do you say no to the box?
I don't even know what that means.
Does
So
that mean
that's kind of our
stretch your thinking?
tagline.
Does that mean stretch your own thinking?
Yeah, it's like our tagline. It could mean whatever it wants to mean. It's like a play off the thinking outside of the box.
Oh, okay. So here, you want to talk about thinking outside the box? Let's think outside of Zoom. Why the fuck does Zoom have boxes in a grid? There couldn't be a circle? Like whoever designed it couldn't figure out how to make us into a circle. No, it had to be a grid, right? And now we all do it. And every time we walk into a dance department, dance studio half the time, everybody wants to set up in a grid because they're so used to the grid. But I'm like, no, circle, stretch, circle. Then we can find our space between people and things like that. But yeah.
Continue to ask questions.
Thanks for taking your time to tune into Dance Behind the Screen, a bi-monthly interview series where we go behind the screen to question process, product, and social media. Be sure to follow us on social media at KNOW Box Dance. See you next time, and don't forget to say no to the box.